The morning Richard Adeyemi signed the contract that made him worth 2 billion naira, he came home to meet Gloria on her knees. Not celebrating, not waiting, praying. He stood at the doorway of their bedroom, tie loosened, champagne still warm in his chest, and watched his wife talk to God about him. He heard his name. He heard protect him. He heard keep him faithful. He should have walked in and held her. Instead, he loosened his tie the rest of the way, pulled out his second phone, and texted Vivian, "I'm thinking about you." Richard Adeyemi, 54, was not a bad man. That was the tragedy of it. He paid school fees for children in his village. He built a block of classrooms in Ogun State with his own money and put no plaque on it. Every Sunday, he sat in the third pew at Redeemed Christian Church, Victory Parish, Victoria Island, and he meant every word he sang. But somewhere between building his empire and maintaining it, Richard had quietly stopped looking at Gloria the way he used to. Not because she had changed. She hadn't. Gloria at 51 was still elegant, still warm, still the kind of woman other men envied him for. But familiarity, Richard had learned, is the slowest poison. It doesn't kill love, it just makes you stop noticing it. Vivian noticed everything. She joined Adeyemi Construction as his executive secretary 18 months ago, recommended by a board member, interviewed by HR, entirely professional on paper. 27 years old, economics degree from University of Lagos. Sharp enough to anticipate problems before Richard saw them, and possessed of a quiet confidence that unsettled him from day one. The first 3 months he kept his distance. The next 2 he told himself that what he felt was admiration. By the 6th month they were in a hotel room in Lekki, and Richard was no longer telling himself anything. Vivian was not naive. She knew who Richard was. Husband, father, church elder, community man. She had not planned to fall into this. But falling rarely announces itself. It happens in small moments. The evening he stayed late reviewing project bids and ordered her jollof rice because he remembered it was her favorite. The way he listened to her, actually listened with his full body, when she spoke about her ideas. The night she cried in the office about her sick mother, and he sat beside her in silence for 40 minutes without checking his phone once. She fell for the man before she touched him. That made everything more complicated. Their first night together happened on a Thursday. Richard had a site meeting in Abuja that Gloria knew about. Vivian had a family visit that nobody asked about. They met at Transcorp Hilton, and everything that had been building for months collapsed into one night that was equal parts reckless and real. Driving back to Lagos the next morning, Richard gripped his steering wheel and asked himself the question every man in his position eventually asks. What have I done? But the honest answer, the one he buried quickly, was that he already knew he would do it again. Gloria made pepper soup that Friday night, and Nneka came home for the weekend, loud and full of energy, dominating the dining table the way he always did, making his mother laugh. Richard sat at the head of his table, watching his family, feeling the weight of what lived in his chest, not guilt exactly, something worse, gratitude and betrayal, sharing the same heartbeat.